Hello, Nell here with Nell at Night, and happy Monday. So tonight I'm going to talk a little bit about healing and sexuality and see where that takes us. I'm pulling the sexuality out because I mentioned it a while ago and I never really addressed it, so I figured today's a good day to talk about that. Why is sexuality important? Let's just jump right in. What is it that I'm talking about with sexuality too? Like, what exactly do I mean here? So one way of working with who we are and understanding ourselves, it's knowing about what we want in sexuality, what's important to us, in our connections and intimate relationships. So it's another piece of this puzzle that I talk about all along and say that there's all these parts into learning about yourself. And so often it's such a taboo subject. I think that's why I like to address it, because it's so important for us to know about ourselves. Now, does that mean that we need to go around telling everybody about what we desire and, how we want those kind of relationships to be? No, that's not what I'm saying. And does it mean that we need to be crazy and that's the only focus that we have in relationships? Absolutely not. Yet for some people it's such an uncomfortable subject that it's an area that's completely avoided. And so that's why I'm sharing and kind of bringing this subject up. It's because when we're uncomfortable with our sexuality, and when we're uncomfortable with our bodies, it actually keeps us in a place of constriction, right? So this sort of closed off place of not being able to open and be fully who we are. And when we can't, or we're not allowing ourselves to be fully who we are, it holds us back, right? So it shows up in all of these areas of our life. And it shows up not just in our careers or our friendships. It shows up when we're, home with an intimate partner, when we're holding back from ourselves, or we're afraid to reveal the things that make us tick and what we like. So that's really what I want to talk about when I had mentioned a while ago that sexuality was such an important part of our development, and really learning what that means for you and being comfortable with what that means for you. We have all these guilts and shames around our bodies and about actually, our intimacy, and really, my school of thought now, wasn't before, is that however we are is okay. You're entitled to want certain things or have certain desires, as long as, there's contracts and agreements with the people in your life, right? So remember, going back to the truthfulness and the honesty and being authentic. So saying one thing and doing another can be very challenging for the people in your life. So being conscious of speaking your truth and saying what you want and saying what you need, and also honoring, whatever sort of agreements that you've entered into as well. Okay, so enough about that. The other thing, healing. So healing is related to this as well. And the healing is about basically thinking of yourself as a whole and taking in all of who you are. And this, again, it's very much related. So when I work with people, the work that I do is healing, and then it's also the coaching and the motivation and, focusing on what it is that you want. Why is the healing component so important? The healing is important because it actually allows us to be all of who we are. It's accepting those parts of us that we're uncomfortable with, that hurt, that create, I was going to say discomfort, which is, again, uncomfortability, but that is a huge thing. So when we're able to heal, and if you look up the definition in online, it's actually about becoming whole again is healing. So if you think of becoming whole again, it's not trying to get rid of any part about who you are. It's bringing in and accepting. And last week I talked a little bit about this too, and it's that self-love, that self-care. And that's where the healing begins. And feeling whatever it is that you're feeling around certain things. It's crying, it's, feeling sorrow. All of that is healing because we're allowing ourselves to be immersed in whatever's happening for us. Okay, so that's it. That's my little tidbit for tonight. And it's a Monday, and I've got nothing else to say. Okay, hope you are all fantastic, and I will see and speak. I won't see you next week. I will be speaking next week, again, on Monday. Bye, and much, much love and happiness to you.